Hi, everyone. Here's the last example from the notes that we didn't get to in class today. I just wanted to give you the last example because there are a couple of examples like it on your homework. And I'm going to follow the steps that we were talking about using to solve in class today. So the first step was to get the term with the rational exponent by itself on one side. So the first thing that I want to undo is this 3. And since it is multiplied, I want to undo it by division. So that's going to give me a quantity of 2x plus 60 raised to the 2/3 power on the left-hand side, and that's going to give me a 16 on the right-hand side. So now that I've got that term with the fractional exponent by itself on one side, this is where I'm going to go ahead and do the step where I want to raise it to its reciprocal power. So I'm going to raise both sides of the equation to the power of 3/2. So then these two exponents on the left-hand side undo each other, and we're just left bringing down the 2x plus 60. And that's going to be equal to 16 raised to the 3/2 power. So here's something we have to be a little bit careful about. When we do the reciprocal power and we end up with an even number in the denominator, remember that the denominator is representing our index or our root. So if I were to take this expression on the right-hand side and rewrite it, that would mean that our index or our root is going to be 2. So we're going to turn this into a square root. And bring down the 2x plus 60 equals, I'm going to open up a set of parentheses here. So 16 is my radicand. That is a power or an index of 2 or a root of 2, so square root of 16. And then my exponent here is going to be a 3. And this is going to be where we need to be a little bit careful because the square root of 16 can either be positive 4 or negative 4. So what this is actually going to end up splitting up into is actually two different equations. So this is either going to be 2x plus 60 is going to be equal to the positive 4 raised to the third power, or 2x plus 60 is going to be equal to negative 4 raised to the third power. Because again, remember that square root of 16 could either be plus or minus 4. So we need to take into account both of these values when we're solving this equation. And the reason that that's important is because if we raise positive 4 to the third power and negative 4 to the third power, we're not going to get the same thing. So if I raise positive 4 to the third power, that's going to give me a positive 64. If I go over here and use the negative 4 raised to the third power, well, that's really asking me to do negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4, which is going to be a negative 64. So you'll notice that we have two different equations going on here, which is going to give us two different possible values of x. So if I continue solving this left-hand equation, subtract 60, that's going to give me 2x equal to 4. That's going to give me one possible x value of 2. Over on the other side, if I subtract 60, that's going to give me 2x is equal to negative 124. And then divide that by 2. That's going to give me a value of negative 62. So here's our possible answers. We just need to go ahead and do our check to make sure that both of them work or see if one of them or both of them end up being extraneous. So here's my check. So I'm going to just go back to my original equation. So 3 times 2 times 2 is 4 plus 60 is going to give me 64 raised to the 2/3 power. I'm hoping that's going to be equal to 48. And at this point, I can just use my calculator to help me check that. So I'm going to just actually type that into my calculator. So 3 times the quantity of 64 raised to the 2/3 power. And that is equal to 48. So that's going to tell me 48 is equal to 48. That's a true statement. So that is going to tell me that x is equal to 2 is definitely one of my solutions. I'm going to go ahead and check the negative 62. So 3 times 2 times negative 62 plus 60. And the quantity there is negative 64 raised to the 2/3 power. And I'm hoping that when I simplify this side of the equation, I am going to get a 48. So I'm going to just use my calculator again to help me. So 3 times negative 64 raised to the 2/3 power. is 48. So 48 is equal to 48. That one checks out. So our x value of negative 62 also works. All right, so I'm going to have you guys try some on your own for homework. Let me know if you have questions.